Okay, so let's talk about extension ladders. We're going to learn how to stand them up, how to lay them down, how to carry them both when they're upright and when you've got to travel long distances. You want to get good at using these because these are going to be one of your primary tools when you're doing exterior cleaning like windows and gutters. Okay, so now let's review a couple of quick tips that are going to help you stand up and lay down a tall ladder by yourself. When you've got an extension ladder and you need to stand it up, it's on the ground like this one. First thing you want to do is make sure it's collapsed down as short as it can go, because that's just going to make it easier for you to get it all the way up. Here's a quick way to do this. You want to grab the extension ladder at about its center position, and you can kind of rotate it and get it up on one foot, and then get it up on your shoulder. And if you grabbed it at the center, by the time it gets onto your shoulder, you're about at the middle of the ladder, and that's important because it's going to balance itself out as you lift it up. And it's just as simple as lifting it like that, getting it up on your shoulder. You can kind of shift it around and you'll feel when the center of gravity is just perfect on your shoulder, and you're just using your hand here just to stabilize it this way. All of the weight's on your shoulder, your core, your hips, and your legs, which makes this a lot easier to carry long distances. You can carry it like this for a half a mile without getting tired. Much easier than carrying it upright. So this is a great way to move a ladder maybe around a building, or carry it a long distance, or take it back to the truck. So when you've got the ladder in this position and you've reached the point where it's time to stand it up, here's a quick way to do it really quickly. Get yourself a little bit of momentum, drop this foot down, plant it into the ground, and just push it right up. Again, super easy, very little effort required. It takes a little balance and a little practice, but once you get it down, that's the easiest way to stand an extension ladder up by yourself. Now when we've got an upright ladder and it's time to move it a long distance again, we can just reverse the process. It's pretty simple. So we've got our ladder stood up here. We want to make sure that we've got some space behind us. So double check what's behind you so you're not going to run into anything, because you're going to walk backwards a little bit. But it's as simple as starting to bring the ladder weight back, get yourself lined up about the center of the ladder, lift it right back up onto your shoulder. And now you're ready to go. So just reverse the process that we just did standing it up. You do have to make sure you're safe moving backwards, so level ground and nothing behind you. Otherwise, that's a really easy way to get this back up on your shoulders so you can travel a long distance. Now sometimes when you're dealing with a bigger extension ladder, it's a little too much weight to throw up by yourself using the momentum methods that we talked about before. So here's another way to stand a ladder up without a partner that's pretty safe and pretty functional. You can actually use a building or a tree or an object that's firmly planted into the ground and use that as an anchor point to lever the ladder up. So we're going to demonstrate that here against the wall. Now it's important, before you do this, make sure that this isn't a finished surface that might get damaged by the feet of your ladder. In this case, old building, old paint, we're not too worried about it, but if you're working against a finished surface, maybe at a home or something like that, you might want to put a drop cloth or some towels in between the base of your ladder and the surface that you're using as the lever. So, pretty simple. We just move the ladder up against the building or the structure, make sure the feet are seated there. So this is going to provide some anchor point and a lever point so that we can stand the ladder up. And we come to the end of the ladder, and we're just going to walk it up. Put your hands on the rungs, push them up. You can see the base of the ladder is trapped against the object, so the base can't slide away from you as you lift it up. And then you just get it to a point now where now we can grab it and stand it up. So that's a pretty simple way to do this. And then to bring it down, we can just reverse that process. Get our feet in position against the object, make sure that it's nice and locked in there, and then just walk it down backwards. Now it's always important to make sure behind you you've got a safe working space, clear path. You can bring it all the way down, and then you can transport the ladder whichever way is easiest from this point forward. Now when you've got your ladder upright and you only need to move it to a new position, let's say you're moving to a new window or a new section of gutter or a new portion of the roof, it's not necessary to lay it all the way down on your shoulder or carry it horizontally. You may want to just leave it in the upright position. So there's a specific way to carry a ladder in this way that makes it easier on your body and isn't as physically demanding. What you'll notice when you first try to carry these ladders is your instinct is going to be to try to grab it like this and move it around like that, or maybe hold it way out here and move it like that. The problem with that is that's all arms and shoulders, and you're not going to have the strength to be really controlling with the ladder, and you're not going to have the endurance to last a whole day working that way. You really want to get the rest of your body involved so you can leverage all your other muscles to make this easier, preserve your energy, and have more control of the ladder. So, how do we engage our core and our legs and our hips and all of our powerful muscles to control this ladder? It's pretty simple. You want to reach through. You always want to grab the back portion of the extension ladder. So if we grab here, notice what happens. It just slides the extension portion up. So you want to grab it back here, and I like to brace the upper part of the ladder with my offhand. So I get up a little bit higher than my head, and that just raises my center of gravity because most of the weight of this ladder is up above my head. So we really want to establish some balance. So get your hand up here, take the weight here, and notice I'm going to be kind of leaning it on my forearm, and I'm going to be keeping this arm completely locked straight. It's a lot easier to use your hand muscles to hold this in position than try to use your little forearm muscles to bend your arm and keep it in a position like this. So you want to try to lock this arm straight if you can. So once I get it like this, find a balanced, comfortable position. So most of the weight now, my hand is keeping it clear of the ground. I've got the weight leaning against my forearm and kind of into my core, and my offhand here is maintaining some of the balance. It really isn't taking much weight. Where I'm really feeling this is in my low back muscles and in my core, which is a lot stronger. So now I can just carry it around like this. And you notice I'm kind of letting the ladder lean back toward me. So I'm trying to establish some balance vertically and horizontally. It's something you'll get by feel, but just looking at it this way, it'll help you understand how you want to engage the rest of your body to carry these around with some control, and so you can do it for a long time without getting tired. So again, lock this arm, use your hand to lift off the ground, use your offhand to establish some balance, get your core, your hips, your legs involved. Now you can walk around like this with a lot of control and very little effort.